Say hello to the world.
Hey to the world. Hello to the world.
Hello and welcome to the Philippines. We're going to talk a little bit about deciding where to live in the Philippines. I've been to Dumaguete 4 times, and this last time I've gained a new appreciation for Dumaguete over on Negros Island. Very popular with foreigners, expats. Notice a lot of tourists and foreigners from other countries in this visit. So this is a horse and carriage, horse and buggy, 150 pesos, about 3 US dollars. Take us around through the downtown area. This is the Boulevard. I think it's got an official name, but the Boulevard. A lot of people call it the Boulevard. Off to the right, there's a big park. They've reclaimed a part of the sea, and it's a bit of a park. Lots of different events going on. And they continue to reclaim and make it larger. And if you continue out this road, not so far, you get the ferry pier out here, and further out you get the international airport. I think it's international airport. Someone will correct me. It may be just a domestic airport. I'm not positive. We have a number of international airports, and it's an evolving situation with various airports and ferries, ferry piers and ports uh, being enlarged and modernized. So that is a changing situation. Anyway, over here on Negros, I asked who picks up the horse crap, and they actually have a little bucket type leather bucket or something that's tied underneath the tail, and that will catch anything that comes out that end, I guess. Anyway, I could throw a whole lot of statistics at you. I know about 8 years ago I read an article. Dumaguete was rated one of the top places to retire in the world, I think. Um, it's got medical facilities, got a number of colleges, it's got the cost of living going for it. You've got the boardwalk here right next to the sea. You've got, as I said, you've got the airport and ferry right here, so you've got travel options. You have a number of shopping malls. They're not big like SM Mall in Cebu City or Ayala Mall, but they have most of what you need. Grocery stores, hardware stores, building supply stores, gadget stores. Um, so you've got lots of options here. It's smaller, about a quarter of the size, about one fourth the size of Cebu City, I think, population wise. Whereas Iloilo City and Bacolod City are about half the size of Cebu City, and I describe Cebu City metropolitan area as a small big city compared to the cities I've lived in. Um, Being Phoenix, Arizona, the sixth largest city population wise, I think, in the U.S. Lived in Los Angeles for a while, Las Vegas, Minneapolis, and Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So I'm thinking Sioux Falls, South Dakota would be more about the size of Iloilo or Bacolod. Not sure if that's a fair comparison. Um, Maybe I'll do a comparison with cities around the world at some point in time, population wise. Like I said, you have the shopping, that sort of thing. You have I do a lot of shopping online anymore. Lazada is not is got a long ways to go to be anywhere close to Amazon in the U.S. or different parts of the world. Uh, often takes a week for me to get something shipped to me, or even a little bit longer than that if it's available here. Um, you've got some nightlife here. You do have down along the boulevard, along the sea down here. You've got a number of restaurants and bars. And as you go, if we would have kept going straight down that road, out out towards the airport, you've got what's called North Point. You go out there, out towards North Point, not so far really, and you've got a number of restaurants and bars out that way, and I'll show that here a little bit later in the video as well. So deciding where to live, for many people, it's cost of living, but a big part of the decision is comfort level. Um, Comfort level of living in an area. And of course, many of you, if you have met a girl or a boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, many of you will decide to live close to that family because she wants to live close to the family. She's working close to the family, and others are just fine with moving to a different area. Some people say move at least 2 cities away from the family, or two islands away from the family, and that really is a personal choice. How close you want to be to the family. If you're on a budget, a tight budget, pretty much everybody is on some sort of budget. It's up to you to understand what you can spend, how much you can help other people and their families, and stick to that because you can quickly go into debt, start spending a whole lot more than you have in the bank, and your savings can dry up rather quickly as more and more needs arise. As far as beaches and resorts, I think you have to get out of town just a little bit, at least a little bit north, a little bit south. And if you want to dive, there are quite a number of nice diving areas around here. And on the ferry over, I talked to an American who lives in Darwin, and he's a diver, and he said he knows a couple people, Filipino guides, that they know a lot of very good diving spots that the average tourist will never experience. They're not advertised, and they don't want them to be overrun by foreign tourists. Basically, they some things they keep secret. But one thing I would suggest, I've had people say, when I get to the Philippines, I have no idea where to start. I need some advice on what should I do, what should I see, and here's the problem. From my standpoint, is that I don't know what your interests are. Um, I don't know if you're interested in historical things, if you're more interested in beaches and resorts, if you're more interested in bars and nightlife, um, activities. You can rent motorbikes and go. You can rent cars and go. You can rent a car or van and with a driver, go tour around. There are mountains, there are caves, there are waterfalls, a host of different things and historical sites. Um, so you sit down and think about what you are interested in doing and seeing, how you would like to spend your time. I've got a sister. She wants to go to, when she travels in the U.S., she wants to get to her destination, sit down in the sun, and read a book. You do have a Philippine immigration office in the downtown area, so that is convenient if you want to take care of those issues there. If you want to use a visa consultancy, JRC Visa Consultancy and Immigration Services, I've done a number of interviews with them. They've got a number of offices in the Philippines, including one just right next to the immigration office, and they can help you handle your retirement visas, marriage visas, work visas, extensions, annual check-ins, and all that sort of thing. That's coming up here in a couple months. Uh, Tourist visas do not need to make that annual check-in by the end of February of every month, but I think pretty much everybody else, any other kind of visa, does have to do an annual check-in, update your address, that sort of thing. You also have LTO, land transportation. Yeah, the nice thing about the Philippines is a lot of government agencies set up offices in the malls. So you have, in fact, the DFA, Department of Foreign Affairs. My girlfriend, we came down here for her to apply for her passport, and it's almost impossible to get an appointment in Cebu City. So the choice we had try Dumaguete and wait to set an appointment out 2 months in advance, and or Bacolod. And anyway, that's why we made this trip down here. And turns out she had an issue with her birth certificate. Her name is spelled differently than on her birth certificate, so we need to. It's going to take another month or two to get all that straightened out. But anyway, this is this big reclamation area, not so far from the downtown area. Huge park area. They have lots of different types of events down here. I will do a second video a little more about the city, showing you around town, walking around town, just getting a feel for the area. But a number of events going on down here. Karate lessons, I guess. And last time I was down here with JR of JRC Visa Consultancy and some of his crew, there was a big, I think it was a youth day, and they had a concert going on down here, all sorts of kids sports going on down here. If I can find that video, maybe I'll put a link to the end of this video. You also have Valencia. You're very close into the mountains, not very far to go up into the mountains if you want to cool off. Valencia, a town just a ways up in the mountains, much cooler. Across the street from the boulevard, boardwalk, whatever you want to call it, along the sea, you've got a number of restaurants, bars, various things, karaoke places, hotels. Got a few hotels over here. Seaside, as well as back a few blocks, go down the side streets, a block or two. You've got other restaurants, other eating options as well. And we're going to take a tricycle ride out to what's called North Point. And last time I was here with JRC Visa Consultancy, we stayed at a hotel way out, kind of out on the end of the town. Out at the end of this road. Nice hotel out there. So you've got hotels and resorts, things to do. It is a smaller town. If I lived in a smaller town, one good thing would be is that I would probably travel more. Cebu City, it turned out, is a pretty metropolitan area, is a pretty large area. And take the right there, takes you right down into the pier, the ferry pier area. They've got a couple piers. You go further out here, and you've got Cebu Pier, where some of the ferries come in, and then we came in at a pier even further out. Added an extra hour to our travel. Anyway, you go out here, and your airport is out this direction, and you got Silliman. I think it's Silliman University just back behind us, just a little ways. Very famous. And sometimes there's things going on over on the right. You got the sea right over on the right, and I've seen a bunch of people gather. I'm not sure what's going on, but maybe somebody's bringing in a lot of fish, a haul of fish for sale. Not sure. And as we go out here pretty quick, off to the left, you've got many different very nice restaurants. We'd eaten at Moon Restaurant, and very good Mexican food, as a matter of fact. And my friends had some huge steaks, I think ribeye steaks, and very reasonably priced on the lunch menu. Too much to eat. Now, somebody commented on one of my last videos when I mentioned being in Dumaguete and it being rated really one of the top places to retire to. He said, well, that's, that was 8, 9, 10 years ago. Those writers have never been back into town. A lot has changed in that town. And he said there's more traffic, there's more pollution, there are various types of issues. And, well, yeah. Things do change over time, no doubt about that. And I wasn't here 8, 10 years ago. I can't comment on that. But Cebu City has changed a lot in the 7 years I've been there. Some dramatic changes in parts of the city. My own impression of Dumaguete is it's a little bit cleaner than Cebu City is. Now there goes a loud motorbike. My impression is it's a little bit quieter than Cebu City. Cebu City just seems to be a very, very noisy city. Now, I haven't lived in Dumaguete more than a couple days at a time, so maybe it gets noisy also. Not sure. Got sea just to our right here, and restaurants, various things off to our left. Now, years ago when I checked airline flights from Dumaguete to Cebu and back, were only a couple days per week, and they would, my understanding, they would fill up very rapidly. And I thought about flying back to Cebu City, and I think the daytime flight, afternoon flight was between 3 and 4,000, and the nighttime flight was between 1 and 2,000. Don't remember exactly. And here you start getting into all these lit up buildings on the left, restaurants. So many options if you want to get out for a meal. Restaurants, restaurant bars, resto bars, I guess. And it goes out here quite a ways. It would be interesting. Just take a long walk. I would walk this. Most people wouldn't want to walk this far. But all they're lit up, all these cars parked here. Restaurants, resto bars. Unless you knew they were out here, unless somebody pointed them out to you, somebody like myself, you would never know they were here. And because we stayed at a hotel out this direction, I wouldn't have known, even to this day. I wouldn't have known they were out here if we hadn't stayed at the hotel out in this direction. You know, life happens while you're planning it. Some people are very good at planning life and sticking to their plan. But things happen in your life. You meet people, circumstances, various things change where you live, who you associate with, who you get married to, who you date, your finances, your many factors in your life are affected by chance meetings with various people. And a trip to Dumaguete, what I suggest everybody does when they come to the Philippines, if they're not sure where they want to live, travel right away, because you can get, like I did, I became very comfortable in Cebu City, and I didn't travel for quite some time. And here's some more restaurants, bars, various types of things. And I suggest you travel and quickly and go and see some different areas. Spend a week, a couple weeks, a month, depending upon your budget and your time schedule. And go out and travel. Talk to the locals. Explore a little bit. See where you have a comfort level. The cost of living should be quite a bit less here than in Cebu City, but that's up to you to find a place. Stick to your the Moon Restaurant, Moon, I believe. Eat there, very good. Anyway, I've got many other videos coming up from this trip, so thanks for coming along. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time.